Hello students, I welcome you all to the third part of biological nitrogen fixation. Today let us study about the biochemistry of nitrogen fixation and the different genes which are involved in nitrogen fixation, the various enzymes which are involved in nitrogen fixation in detail. Today let us study how actually the nitrogen fixation, that is the molecular nitrogen, gets reduced or converted into ammonia. So what are the different things required for the process of the reduction of this nitrogen into ammonia? Let us study, and also let us study the biochemistry of the nitrogen fixation in detail. As I was mentioning, the atmospheric nitrogen, that is molecular nitrogen, is inert. It cannot be utilized by any of the living organism apart from few nitrogen fixers. These nitrogen fixers, they have an important enzyme called as nitrogenase. Nitrogenase is an enzyme which is made up of two different proteins which are active only when the oxygen concentration is less. Only in anaerobic condition the nitrogenase is active. So the first and foremost thing which is required for the nitrogen fixation is an enzyme nitrogenase. This nitrogenase has to reduce this atmospheric nitrogen. For the process of the reduction of this nitrogen into ammonia, they require some energy in the form of ATP molecules. Apart from this energy, they also require the electron and the proton donors. And also they require an enzyme called as hydrogenase. Apart from this, the activity of the nitrogenase, that is the oxygen level in the cell or inside the bacteroids, is maintained by a substance, a protein called as leg hemoglobin. Leg hemoglobin is a protein which is being synthesized only when there is an interaction or a symbiosis between the rhizobium and the leguminous plants. Leguminous plants alone or rhizobium alone, they cannot synthesize independently. Only when they have been associated together, the leg hemoglobin production happen. So once again I will repeat, following are the things required for the process of the reduction of the molecular nitrogen into ammonia. First important thing is an enzyme nitrogenase. Nitrogenase activity is inhibited when the oxygen concentration is increased, that is they are active only under an aerobic condition. This anaerobic condition is being maintained by a protein called as leg hemoglobin. And apart from this, they also require the hydrogen donors. Hydrogen donors, that is the sugars which is being utilized from the host, serves as a hydrogen donors, and also ATP is required as a energy source. So let us study how actually this ammonia production happen in detail. As we all know, the rhizobium, once they enter inside the host cell, they become bacterioids. They are called as bacterioids, as they have been covered over by a membrane called as symbiosome. Symbiosome is a membrane which has been synthesized by the host plant. They help in the formation of such symbiosome. The nitrogen fixation start only after the formation of this symbiosome. So now, how actually this reduction of nitrogen into ammonia happen. For the growth of these bacteroids, some amount of energy is required. Energy in the form of ATP. The ATP or the energy they get by utilizing the sugars in the form of organic acid inside its cytosol. That is, the host plant synthesize the sugars through the process of photosynthesis. These sugars, either it can be in the form of malate, succinate or fumarate, they enter inside the bacteroid, into the cytoplasm of the bacteroids. These serves as a energy source. These sugars serves as a source of energy for the production of ATP molecules. And also the pyruvate or the pyruvic acid, which has been produced as a product of glycolysis, they act as an electron or a proton donor. So now let us study this in detail. Once the sugars are utilized by these bacteroids, these sugars, they undergo a process of lysis, that is glycolysis, and later they enter even into citric acid cycle, and finally the electrons or the ATP are synthesized through electron transport system. That is, the sugars are broken down into the simpler units and the energy is being produced in the form of ATP molecules. These ATP molecules are utilized for the process of conversion of nitrogen into ammonia, and at the same time the pyruvate, which has been synthesized, which is actually the product of the glycolysis, this also serves as a proton or electron donors into this nitrogenase, because the conversion of this nitrogen into ammonia is a reduction process. For the process of reduction, hydrogen or protons are highly essential. This reaction is also catalyzed by an enzyme called as nitrogenase. Once the ammonia has been produced, these ammonia at lower pH, they get converted into ammonium, or this, which is actually the stable substance, and this in turn is being utilized for the process of amino acid production. And also some amount of ammonia which has been synthesized inside the bacteria is also transported outside the rhizobium in the form of in which they get converted into amides and urides, which is being utilized by the plants for the process of assimilation. That is, this ammonia which has been synthesized is being assimilated by the plants for its growth and development. And at the same time, we have to remember that the nitrogenase enzyme is active only under anaerobic condition. This environment is created by a protein called as leg hemoglobin, which is being synthesized when there is a symbiosis between a rhizobium and a leguminous plants. This leg hemoglobin acts like a oxygen scavenger. That is, it removes the oxygen from a particular environment. In that particular region, they scavenge or they remove the oxygen. So this is in general how actually the nitrogen is being reduced into ammonia. So this, in case of rhizobium, the activity of nitrogenase is been controlled, or the environment, that is anaerobic condition, is created by leg hemoglobin. However, in case of cyanobacteria or the group of prokaryotic organism, which is also called as blue-green algae, even they have an ability of fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. In case of Rhizobium, the concentration of oxygen is minimized by a protein called as leg hemoglobin. In case of these cyanobacteria, such leg hemoglobin may not be there. How actually the nitrogenase activity is being controlled? How actually the oxygen level is being controlled? For this particular process, many of the blue-green algae has a specialized compartment or a specialized cell called as heterocyst. Heterocyst is a special compartment or a specialized cell which has a thick wall. It has got a thick wall around it. It is different from that of a normal vegetative cell because of having a thick wall around it, and also the concentration of the oxygen in this cell is very less, and also in case of vegetative cell, the photosynthesis happen, which may leads for the process of organic acid production. They have photosystem 1 and 2, whereas in heterocyst, photosystem 2 is completely lacking. That is, photosynthesis capability is very less here. In photosystem 2, we know that is a non-cyclic photophosphorylation, where actually photoionization of water, that is photolysis of water happen, which leads to the production of oxygen. In order to avoid this oxygen generation, the special compartment called as heterocyst has been made, in which photosystem 2 is completely lacking. In this way, oxygen concentration is being minimized, and also the oxygen penetration inside this heterocyst is also very less. So the nitrogenase activity is being followed because of such retardation of the oxygen. If the oxygen enters inside the heterocyst also, there is a respiration happens very quickly, so that the oxygen which has been assimilated or entered inside this heterocyst is also quickly utilized. So that is how the heterocyst helps in the process of the reduction of this nitrogen into ammonia. So here also the vegetative cells, they fixes the carbon dioxide, and by the process of photosynthesis, the organic acids are synthesized. These organic acid, maybe the sugars, sucrose, they enter inside this heterocyst, and they can undergo a process of oxidation, and due to the process of oxidation, that is the glycolysis can happen. Through that process, they can be able to synthesize the energy, and at the same time the sucrose, once it breaks down into the glucose undergoes the process of phosphorylation, that is glucose 6-phosphate is being formed. This glucose 6-phosphate gets converted into 6-phosphogluconic acid in the presence of an enzyme glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. During that particular process, NADP gets reduced to NADPH, where this NADPH serves as a proton donors, where they transfer the electrons to the acceptors, say for example ferredoxins or flavidoxins. They are actually the electron acceptor proteins. These ferredoxins or flavidoxins, which are the electron carriers, which are strongly reducing. They can get strongly reduced, where they have an ability of getting oxidized once they transfer or donate the protons and an electron to the enzyme nitrogenase. Once the nitrogenase gets reduced, again the electrons and the protons are given up to the atmospheric nitrogen, where this nitrogen can get converted into ammonia. And another important thing which we have to note down over here is the hydrogen which has been produced. The hydrogen or the protons which are produced as a product of the reduction of the atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia, hydrogen is also released. Because of this hydrogen which has been released, maybe it should not go waste, because large amount of energy would have been utilized for the production of this hydrogen. So there are certain hydrogenase enzyme which has an ability of recycling this hydrogen again, so that the nitrogen fixation can happen actively. Once again I will repeat, in case of cyanobacteria, there are certain specialized cells called as heterocyst. These are special compartment in which the nitrogen fixation happen. Why the nitrogen fixation happen in this cell? First thing is, they have a thick wall around them. It is made up of very thick wall. And another thing is, here the photosynthesis is very minimum amount of photosynthesis can happen, wherein which photosystem 2 is completely lacking, where the photosystem 2 photolysis of water happen, which leads to the production of oxygen, that is lacking here. Henceforth, even the photosynthesis is less. However, heterocysts are dependent on the vegetative cells. In vegetative cells, the photosynthesis happen, which leads to the production of organic acids, which is the summation of dark reaction and the night reaction, wherein which the sugar or a sucrose molecule has been produced in vegetative cell. This sugar is being transported into the heterocyst. By breaking down of this sugar molecules, ATP is being produced, which is being utilized for other purposes also. Along with that, this ATP is also being utilized for the process of atmospheric nitrogen fixation. And apart from that, during the process of the glycolysis, breaking down of the sugar molecule, glucose 6-phosphate gets converted into 6-phosphogluconic acid, catalyzed by an enzyme glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. During this process, remember, NADP gets reduced to NADPH. In the presence of an enzyme, where this NADPH transfers electron, remember, NADPH transfers electron to a protein or a electron receiver called as ferredoxin. That is the electron, you can call it as electron carriers, electron carrying protein, you can call ferredoxin or flavidoxins. With the involvement of an enzyme NADP, ferredoxin oxidoreductase, this is an enzyme which is involved in the process of transfer of electron from reduced NADPH to ferredoxin, so that ferredoxin gets reduced. This electron carrier later donates or transfer the electrons to the enzyme nitrogenase, so that the nitrogenase enzyme gets reduced, and also during this process ATP molecules are also being consumed. At the same time, the enzyme nitrogenase transfers electron to the atmospheric nitrogen, to that of a molecular nitrogen. Finally, through the chain of reaction, two molecules of ammonia are produced. Later, this ammonia is being transferred to that of a vegetative cells. So this is what happened in heterocyst. In case of Frankia, Frankia is one of a organism belongs to actinomycetes. You know, actinomycetes are the group of organism which shares the characteristic feature of both bacteria and fungi. This Frankia is being found associated with that of roots of the plants belonging to the family Butylaceae, Casuarinaceae, Myrtaceae, Rosaceae, etc. Even these Frankia also have an ability of fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. Say for example, in Rhizobium, there was leg hemoglobin which could minimize the oxygen concentration inside the rhizobial cell. In case of Frankia, in case of blue-green algae, there are some specialized cells which may create an environment in which the oxygen concentration is less. Here in case of Frankia, they have an ability of producing or they can produce some structures called as vesicles. How you could see in Rhizobium, when they interact with that of a leguminous plants, they produce nodules. In the same way, these organisms can produce a special structures called as vesicles. Inside these vesicles, they can fix the atmospheric nitrogen. So these are some of the images which shows the formation of nodules. See at the left side of this particular slide, you could see the roots of Casuarina which have formed the nodules. Like how you could see the nodules in the leguminous plants, we can also see the nodules in produced by Frankia. However, they also have an ability of producing a special structures, modified structures in the mycelium. You can see the mycelium of this Frankia, and also they are producing a separate compartment. Here it is called as vesicles. Inside this vesicle, oxygen concentration is less, or it is anaerobic. Here inside this vesicle, anaerobic condition is being created. Because of this, the nitrogenase activity is more compared to other cells in this Frankia. Vesicles are being produced by this group of organism, so that the nitrogen fixation or the environment required for the nitrogen fixation and for the nitrogenase activity is better. This is what happens in Frankia, which is one of a symbiotic actinomycetes. So in case of Azotobacter, the nitrogenase enzyme activity has been protected by following ways, that is by rapid removal of oxygen by respiration, by producing the slime layer around each of the cell so that the penetration of oxygen is being minimized, and the nitrogenase complexes with specific protein. It gets complexed with specific protein so that there is a conformational change This is also called as conformational protection. Because of the conformational changes, the nitrogen could not come and bind onto the surface of the nitrogenase enzyme. That is, onto the activational site, the nitrogen molecule cannot bind on so that the enzyme substrate complex is being not formed. So in this way, the free living organism, free living soil bacteria has an ability of fixing the atmospheric nitrogen, and this is how they protect the activity of the nitrogenase. So now, as I was discussing before, the different things which are required for the process of the reduction of molecular nitrogen into ammonia, the first and foremost thing is nitrogenase. As I was mentioning many times, nitrogenase is an enzyme which is essential for the process of conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into the ammonia. So what is this nitrogenase? This is one of the protein which is active only in anaerobic condition. This nitrogenase is active only in anaerobic condition. This nitrogenase protein are coded by special genes called as NIF genes, which we are studying about this NIF gene in my next slide. And this nitrogenase is made up of two different proteins. This is the diagrammatic representation of the enzyme nitrogenase. Through this nitrogenase, the oxidoreduction reaction happen, and finally the protons and the electrons is being donated or transferred into molecular nitrogen for the process of the reduction of nitrogen into ammonia. So what are these nitrogenases? This nitrogenase or an enzyme which has got two different proteins. Remember, it is made up of two different protein, important for the point of your competitive examination. Made up of two different proteins. They are Fe protein, iron protein, which is being coded by a gene in NIF operon called as NIF-H. NIF-H is a gene which code for Fe protein. This is also called as dinitrogenase reductase. NIF-H code for Fe protein, that is an enzyme, the protein dinitrogenase reductase, where this dinitrogenase reductase is a dimer of two identical subunits. And it has also got two binding sites for ATP and ADP. So once again I will repeat, nitrogenase is an enzyme which has an ability of converting the molecular nitrogen into ammonia. This nitrogenase is active during anaerobic condition. They are coded by a genes called as NIF genes. Nitrogenase has got two different protein. One is Fe protein, which is being coded by NIF-H gene, and this protein is also called as dinitrogenase reductase, and it has also got two binding sites for ATP and ADP. And there is one more protein called as MOFE protein. This MOFE protein, molybdenum and iron protein, they are coded by many cluster of genes NIF-D and NIF-K. Many genes are there. Let us study that in detail in NIF operon. And this is also called as dinitrogenase enzyme. It's also called as dinitrogenase. This dinitrogenase is a tetramer where it has two copies of two different subunits, alpha and beta. It has got two copies of two different subunits called as alpha and beta subunits, which are coded by NIFD, NIFK and so on. So this is about the nitrogenase, enzyme nitrogenase. So nitrogenase is a enzyme which is active under anaerobic condition, coded by NIF genes, has got two different proteins, Fe protein and FeMO protein. Fe protein is a dimer, whereas FeMO protein is a tetramer, and where this FeMO protein has got alpha and beta subunits. This enzyme is highly involved in oxidoreduction or redox reaction for the process of reduction of molecular nitrogen into ammonia. So this is about enzyme nitrogenase. And also one more thing we have to remember here is, as I said, nitrogenase is made up of two different protein, Fe protein and FeMO protein. In few species, say for example in case of some species of Azotobacter species, where this MOFE protein, instead of MO we can find V, that is vanadium, can also be substituted as a cofactor instead of molybdenum. That we have to remember. Now let us study about NIF genes. NIF genes are also called as nitrogen fixing genes. These are the genes which are responsible for the production of enzyme nitrogenase and for the process of the reduction of molecular nitrogen into ammonia. These NIF genes are located in SIM plasmid adjacent to that of a NOD genes in case of symbiotic bacteria. If they are free living bacteria, they are found in the regular genome of a bacterial cells. This NIF gene is about 24 kilobase, and it is made up of around 16 genes, and it comprises of seven different operons. Each operons plays the major role. There are genes, important genes, regulator genes called as NIF-A and NIF-L. NIF-A is a positive regulator. It's called as positive, it produces inducer protein. Whereas NIF-L is called as negative regulator. They produces the repressor protein. They produce a certain repressor protein, where this negative regulator, that is NIF-L gene, they become activated when the concentration of oxygen inside the cell increases, or if the ammonium production increases, which may also be toxic to the cell. At that particular moment, this NIF-L become activated and they code for a protein called as repressor protein. This repressor protein are involved in the process of switching off of the operon, that is the nitrogenase production, and the synthesis or the reduction of the nitrogen into ammonia stop, as the NIF operon is switched off, is due to the negative regulator called as NIF-L gene. As I said, there is one more gene called as NIF-A. It's called as positive regulator. The main function of this positive regulator is to produce a inducer protein when the condition is favorable. NIF-A gene code for a inducer protein. This inducer protein binds with that of a repressor protein and forms a complex so that the promoter gene gets, that is the NIF specific promoter become activated so that the transcription of the NIF other NIF genes will proceed. So this is the role of NIF A and NIF L. Once again I will repeat, there are important genes called as NIF A and NIF L, where they are the regulator genes which are involved in switching on and switching off of the NIF operon. NIF L gene, which is the negative regulator, they produce a certain repressor protein if the condition is not favorable for nitrogen fixation. That is, if the oxygen concentration is more inside the cell, or if the ammonia production is more inside the cell. At that particular time, NIF L gene code for a repressor protein. This repressor protein binds onto the promoter so that the transcription of the NIF genes is stopped. That's called as switching off of an operon. Once the condition is favorable for the process of nitrogen fixation, at that particular time, a positive regulator called as NIF A, it code for inducer protein. This inducer protein binds with the repressor protein to form a complex, and the switching on of the operon happen so that the NIF specific promoter become active so that the transcription of other NIF genes which are involved in the process is induced. So this is the role of NIF A and L. There are some more genes called as H, D, K genes. NIF H is the gene which is involved in the process of the production of Fe nitrogenase. Fe nitrogenase is the role of this H is to in the synthesis of Fe protein, that is Fe nitrogenase. You know, nitrogenase is made up of Fe protein, which is a dimer, and you have a tetramer called as FeMO protein. Fe protein is being coded by NIF H, and there are genes called as NIF D gene and NIF K genes which are involved in the process of the production of FeMO protein. You know, FeMO is actually the tetramer, and it has got two subunits, again alpha and beta subunits, which are synthesized, which are transcribed by NIF D and NIF K. And also there are some more cluster of genes called as NIF E, N, B and Q. These genes are involved in the process of the biosynthesis of FeMO nitrogenase complex and the cofactors, FeMO cofactors. The role of NIF E, N, P, Q is for the synthesis of FeMO cofactors. So once all these genes transcribe, the nitrogenase has been synthesized. And for the process of nitrogen fixation, another important thing which we require is a proton donors or electron donors. There are some genes for this also. There is a NIF J. NIF J is a pyruvate fluvidoxin oxidoreductase. The NIF J is a gene which code for an enzyme called as pyruvate fluvidoxin oxidoreductase, and there is NIF F gene, which is the one which is involved in the process of the production of flavidoxin or ferridoxins. What are these flavidoxin and ferridoxins? Actually, these are the electron carriers. Flavidoxin and ferredoxins are the electron carriers. So the main function of J and F gene is for coding of an enzyme pyruvate flavidoxin, oxidoreductase and flavidoxin, where the protein synthesized by NIF-J, that is NIF-J protein, couples the oxidation, that is it is involved in the oxidation of pyruvate, and also it is also involved in the reduction of flavidoxin, which in turn this reduced flavidoxin, which in turn serves as a electron donor for dinitrogenase reductase. Once again I will let you know, there are the genes called as NIF-J and NIF-B gene. The main function of this NIF-J gene is to produce an enzyme called as pyruvate flavidoxin oxidoreductase. What this pyruvate flavidoxin oxidoreductase does, it is involved in the oxidation of pyruvate and transfers or reduces the flavidoxin. Pyruvate flavidoxin oxidoreductase, it oxidizes pyruvate and at the same time it reduces flavidoxin by transferring an electron to that of flavidoxin. So once the flavidoxin has been reduced, which is also an electron carrier, a protein strongly reducing electron carriers there. This reduced flavidoxin gets oxidized once it transfers the electrons and the protons to dinitrogenase reductase of an enzyme nitrogenase. So once the dinitrogenase reductase gets reduced, it oxidizes nitrogenase enzyme, or it reduces nitrogenase enzyme, and in turn this nitrogenase enzyme reduces the nitrogen into ammonia. So this is how the NIF operon operates. So apart from this regulator A and L genes, which are involved in the regulation of NIF operon, there are some more genes which has been recognized in Rhodospirillum rubrum. Even these genes are also involved in nitrogenase activity. Those genes are called as DRA-T and DRA-G genes. The regulation of nitrogenase activity involves reversible ADP ribosylation of dinitrogenase reductase. That is, you can go through the image which has been put up to the left side. Here, for the process of activation and inactivation of this dinitrogenase reductase, there are two different enzymes which are involved in the process of activation and inactivation when the condition is not favorable, or if the condition is favorable, the activation of this enzyme or inactivation of this enzyme happen. This is being regulated by a group or genes called as dinitrogenase reductase ADP ribosyl transferase, that is DRA-T gene. There are genes called as DRA-T. Why it's called as DRA-T genes? Dinitrogenase reductase ADP ribosyl transferase. It's an enzyme which is being coded by a gene called as DRA-T genes. Where you can find this DRA-T genes? It has been identified in Rhodospirillum rubrum. So here, just adjacent to that of structural genes called as HDK genes. We all know these HDK genes are involved in the process of the production of dinitrogenase. Dinitrogenase enzyme is being produced by this genes, cluster of genes. Here, if the condition is not favorable, what happens? The DRA-T genes become activated and they code for dinitrogenase reductase ADP ribosyl transferase. What is the function of this enzyme? This enzyme transfer ADP ribose. ADP ribose. You can look at the image. DRA-T protein. It transfers ADP. It transfers ADP ribose. Look at the image. ADP ribose from NAD to dinitrogenase reductase. Dinitrogenase reductase get the this ADP ribose gets attached onto the dinitrogenase reductase enzyme, which leads to the inactivation of dinitrogenase. That is the role of DRA-T gene. DRA-T gene code for DRAT protein, that is dinitrogenase reductase ADP ribosyl transferase. What this gene protein does, it transfers ADP ribose from NAD to dinitrogenase reductase. This dinitrogenase reductase is one of the protein of nitrogenase enzyme. We know that nitrogenase enzyme is being made up of two different protein, dinitrogenase and nitrogenase. So what this enzyme, which has been coded by DRA-T gene, does, it transfer ADP ribose from NAD to dinitrogenase reductase, which leads to inactivation of dinitrogenase. There are also some more genes. One more gene is there called as DRA-G gene. What actually this DRA-G gene does? It code for a protein called as dinitrogenase reductase activating glycohydrolase. Dinitrogenase reductase activating glycohydrolase. It code for that particular protein. What this protein or enzyme does? This enzyme removes ribose. It removes ADP ribose from dinitrogenase reductase, so that dinitrogenase reductase become active, so that the nitrogenase activity continues. This is about DRA-T and DRA-G genes in Rhodospirillum rubrum, which regulates the nitrogenase activity. And one more gene is also being present, especially in symbionts. In most of the cases, you can come across this genes called as HUP genes. These are the genes which are required for the recycling of the hydrogen molecules which are produced as a product of the atmospheric nitrogen fixation. As we all know, the nitrogen, atmospheric or the molecular nitrogen, gets converted into ammonia. During that particular process, hydrogen is also being released. Since this hydrogen is very important for this reduction process, it should not go waste. Even for the synthesis of this hydrogen during nitrogen fixation, large amount of energy would have been utilized. Hence, this hydrogen has to be recycled. This recycling of this hydrogen can be done by an enzyme called as hydrogenase, which has been synthesized by this HUP genes, which code for hydrogenase, which plays a major role in recycling of hydrogen and also helps in enhancement of nitrogen fixation efficiency, so that the energy which has been utilized for the nitrogen fixation should not go waste. Hence, the organism have also got certain genes called as HUP genes, which are involved in recycling of the hydrogen which has been released as a product of the reduction of this nitrogen into ammonia. So that is what this particular image also represents. So we will talk about this reduction process in my next slides. So now let us study the mechanism of nitrogenase activity. As we all know, this nitrogenase is an enzyme which become inactive when there is a oxygen concentration increases. They are active only under anaerobic condition, and also it is made up of two different proteins, Fe protein and FeMO protein, that is dinitrogenase reductase and dinitrogenase. These are the two different proteins which together constitutes nitrogenase enzyme. For the process of the reduction of the nitrogen into ammonia, as we all know, there are two different steps. One is electron activation by suitable electron donor, that is, the energy required for nitrogenase activity is synthesized by cellular metabolic cycles in the form of ATP. That is, ATP is highly essential for the process of the nitrogenase activity, as we all know before. And the pyruvate functions as an electron donor and also as an energy source. So you know that the NIF operon, apart from there are certain genes in NIF operon which code for NIF genes, especially HDK genes as well as ENBQ genes. These are the genes which are highly involved in the synthesis of this nitrogenase enzyme. And also there are certain genes called as NIFJ as well as NIFF gene. NIFF gene are the one which are involved in the process of the synthesis of this electron carriers, that is ferredoxins or flavidoxins, are synthesized by the as a product of this NIFF genes. There is one more gene called as NIFJ gene. This NIFJ gene code for an enzyme called as pyruvate flavidoxin oxidoreductase. The main function of this pyruvate flavidoxin oxidoreductase is to oxidize the pyruvate. It oxidizes pyruvate and transfer the electron from this pyruvate to that of ferredoxin, which is an electron carrier, so that the ferredoxin gets reduced. So now this ferredoxin is ready to donate an electron or the proton to that of a nitrogenase. This has been mediated or catalyzed by an enzyme called as hydrogenase. Once the electrons to the protons and the protons are transferred into dinitrogenase reductase, that is Fe protein, the first protein of nitrogenase gets reduced by accepting the electrons. Later this transfers the electron and the proton or the hydrogen into FeMO protein. Once FeMO protein accepts the electron, it gets reduced and it is ready to get oxidized by donating an electron and the proton to that of the nitrogen molecule which has been attached on the activation sites of the nitrogenase enzyme. This nitrogen finally gets reduced by accepting the electrons or the hydrogen which finally leads to the formation of the ammonia. In this particular process, two ammonium molecules are released from one molecule of nitrogen. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the nitrogenase activity for the process of conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia. Let's see how actually this happen. Nitrogenase enzyme, as you all know, it is made up of two different proteins and all, which gets reduced, and finally this reduced nitrogenase gets oxidized by transferring an electron and the proton to that of a molecular nitrogen. So how this process happen in the production of ammonia? Let us study in detail. The enzyme nitrogenase has got a activation site. On this activation site, if the molecular nitrogen, that is the substrate, which is a substrate, binds, it form a enzyme substrate complex. At that particular moment, the electrons and the proton, with the involvement of an enzyme called as hydrogenase, transfers this proton onto this nitrogen. During this particular process, the bond, there is a triple bond between two nitrogen atom. One of the bond is broken, one of the bond is being released or broken, and hydrogen is being added into this onto this nitrogen atom, which is called as diamide. It's called as diamide. Later this diamide again gets reduced, where this diamide has got two bonds now, out of which one more bond is being broken between these two nitrogen, where one more hydrogen is being added onto each of the nitrogen atom. That is, you can N, single bond N, where on each of the nitrogen atom, two hydrogen would have added. That is called as hydrazine formation happen. Later, this hydrazine, which has got a single bond, even that bond is also removed, is also broken. Once again there is a reduction, that is, once again there is an addition of the electrons or the protons or the proton by the enzyme called as hydrogenase. Again the reduction happen. The last bond which was there, that is also deleted or that is also broken, wherein which the nitrogen atoms are now, two nitrogen atoms are free, wherein which onto each of the nitrogen atom, three hydrogen atoms would have added. So that constitutes the product called as ammonia. At the same time, hydrogen is also released. This hydrogen has been recycled again by the involvement of an enzyme hydrogenase, which is involved in the recycling of the hydrogen which has been released. So the overall reaction goes on like this. Nitrogen, single molecule of nitrogen in the presence of 8 protons, 8 electrons and 16 ATP molecules, 2 ammonia is released, 2 molecules of ammonia is released from one nitrogen molecule, and hydrogen is also released, 16 ADP and 16 inorganic phosphate has been produced. So this is the overall reaction of the process of conversion of nitrogen into ammonia. So the overall reaction goes on like this. The biological nitrogen fixation can be represented by the following equation, in which 2 moles of ammonia are produced from 1 molecule of nitrogen gas at the expense of 16 molecules of ATP and a supply of electrons and protons. So this is about the conversion of this nitrogen into ammonia. Once the ammonia has been synthesized or converted from the nitrogen, these ammonia they become stable at slightly acidic pH into ammonium, and this ammonium is being utilized for the synthesis of amino acids, and also this is also utilized as a nitrogen source which has been transported to the plant system, and also this ammonium is also being converted into nitrites and nitrates, where this nitrates are assimilated by the plants and the nitrogen cycle can continue. So this is about the nitrogen fixation in detail, and these are references for this particular part. Apart from other textbooks, I have these papers also you can refer to follow this properly. Thank you again for your patience to listen this topic.